What's up, fight fans? And I'm back at it with another one here at Round 1 Sports Talk. I would like to talk about the epic upcoming battle between Saul Canelo Álvarez and Jamel Charlo. They are fighting for legendary status and Naoya Inoue, while a lot of fighters seem to have his name in their mouth. And is the Naoya Inoue and Tapale's fight on or off? Is it at jeopardy? All that and more. Stay with me. So without further ado, like, subscribe to the channel, and I'm on to the video. So Saul Canelo Álvarez is a Mexican fighter. He comes to us with a record of 59, 2, and 39. He's 33 years of age, okay? He is 5'8". He has a 70-inch arm reach. He has a 66% knockout ratio, okay? And he is currently the 168-pound champion of the world, unanimous, undisputed, meaning he has all 4 belts. His challenger is the American fighter that needs no introduction, Jamel Charlo Charlo. Okay, and he comes to us with an age of 33 years old, and he has a record of 35, 1, and 19. He's 6 feet tall, and he has a 74-inch arm reach, okay? He has a 54% knockout ratio. Now, let's talk about the fight. This is a big fight in many ways, and most of us know this, that Jamel Charlo stands to be the one and only man in boxing history to simultaneously hold 8 belts. Shall he pull this off against Saul Canelo Álvarez? But Saul Canelo Álvarez, I need not to remind you of who he is. First of all, Mexican fighters are very durable, tough fighters. And he is considered among many Mexican legends as one of the best Mexican fighters to ever live. Now, that's saying a lot. Okay, so let's not just forget who this man has fought. He has fought men like Sugar Shane Mosley, Triple G, and if I'm not mistaken, he fought the one and only Floyd Mayweather. Okay, now let's talk about that right there, because that's an interesting fact. Now, Saul Canelo Álvarez, they're saying that Jamel Charlo is 6 feet tall and that he's going to move up and he's going to beat Canelo Álvarez, right? Like Canelo Álvarez can't beat Jamel Charlo. Well, in fact, Jamel Charlo, he is a good fighter in his own sense, in his own right. At the 154 pounds, he has all 4 belts. But Saul Canelo Álvarez is the 168-pound champion for a reason. And he's fought a lot of American slick style fighters, and he fought brawlers, lefties, righties. And it's interesting to note that when Saul Canelo Álvarez fought Floyd Mayweather, he went into that fight with a record of 42 and 30 knockouts. And he was also undefeated. When he lost that fight, they try to say that he was young and inexperienced. But if you're going to turn around and say that he was young and inexperienced, then that means that his level of competition all the way up to that point, you're saying was no good. Because you're saying he didn't have no experience. So you're saying that he had 42 fights with 30 knockouts, and those were all tomato cans then? No, they weren't. One thing you could not say about Saul Canelo Álvarez is, yes, he was 23 years old, but he didn't lack in experience. For God's sake, he had 42 fights with 30 knockouts. He was already an established professional boxer. In fact, he's coming into the Jamel Charlo fight with a better record than Jamel Charlo right now. In fact, Jamel Charlo is only 35 fights and 19 knockouts. Saul Canelo Álvarez went into the fight with Mayweather, I need not to remind you, 42 and 30. He had more fights 10 years ago when he was 23 years old. That's 10 years ago. He had a better record than Jamel Charlo does right now. And you think that Jamel Charlo's going to walk in there and just rock this dude? Bro, you're going to get a sad awakening. Listen, my boxing gut tells me that Canelo Álvarez is going to pull this off. It's going to be another case of weight bullying, okay? And he's going to drag Jamel Charlo into deep water, and he's going to put him away. If Jamel Charlo survives to the 12th round, does he really think he's going to pull off a 12-round decision against Canelo Álvarez? I don't see that happening. Okay? And you would have to just, like, totally win all 12 rounds like Dimitri Bivol did, arguably. Okay? So, yeah, I don't see him winning a decision. And just like Lomachenko when he fought Devin Haney, a lot of fans were outraged after the verdict in the fight. But going into the fight, we all know that if the fight is close and you're fighting the champion in his backyard, and you're not just fighting a champion that has one belt, but all 4 belts, well then brother, you can't leave that up to the judges. You need to take the judges out of the equation. And we all know that if the fight is close, they're going to give the champion's nod. They're going to give it to the champion. And then when it happens, we're all in an outrage of, oh man, but we all knew these things were possible, you know? So Jamel Charlo is going to really have to put out a dominance performance, or he's going to have to stop Saul Canelo Álvarez, in my opinion. Now listen, if I was to take my reporter hat off right now, and I was just to be an American fan, you know, because I am an American boxing fan too, as well. And I wasn't being biased. But right now I'm going to be a little biased because I'm just going to be speaking to Jamel Charlo as a boxing fan. You know what I'm saying? Jamel Charlo, listen, my brother. I hope on the night of that fight, may all the fighters and all the legends before you, may their spirits come into you and give you the skills. I hope you have like cat-like reflexes on that night. I hope you hit like a rhino. And I hope in your toughest moments in that fight, your lion heart shows up. I hope you turn it up on this dude. I hope you find his jaw often and frequently. I want you to step him back but fight intelligently. Don't feed into the crowd and work your jab. You know what I'm saying? When it's time to box, box. When it's time to fight, fight. Don't relax in the fight. All right, with that being said, I'll put back on my reporter hat. Listen, it's going to be a great fight. Whenever it's a Mexican fighter against an American fighter, that is one rivalry that has been ringing out through the dawns of the halls of fame in boxing for ages. This is an epic fight. I wish it was more on an even playing field, but I'll take it. I'll take it because Saul Canelo Álvarez needs to step up and fight some of the top guys. Although this was not that guy in that division, hats off to him to taking the fight, daring to be great, and for giving us a great fight coming up. Well then, Naoya Inoue and Tapales are in deep negotiation right now, and from what I'm hearing, the fight is threatening to not happen. That's correct. You heard me correct. Okay. Naoya Inoue's promotional company, which he is signed to Top Rank. The Japanese gentleman that represents him over there works for Bob Arum. He's like a Bob Arum over there. He sent to Tapales in their camp a contract, okay? And they sent it back and rejected the offer. They said that Tapales is worth more and that they need to pay him. And what they sent him was just not enough, I guess, okay? So Naoya Inoue's camp said, well, then, you know, Naoya Inoue can fight anybody. He doesn't need to fight you. And Tapales' camp turned around and said, yeah, he can fight whoever he wants, but you know what he won't be fighting for? The WBA and the IBF. That's what he won't be fighting for. So go ahead, go fight somebody else, right? So now Naoya Inoue's camp went back, rescheduled a negotiation like a lunch, so to speak, and they're going to go out and talk it out. Keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully everything works out because both fighters are in the gym still. And it looks like they're trying to shoot for December. It looks like they're trying to shoot for December. I heard that the venue that they were going to try to occupy has a date there. So there's a concert performing on that date. They have like 3 other venues in mind in Japan because the fight's going to be held in Japan. But forget about the venue. Let's get the fighters signed and let's give Tapales what he deserves. You know, and let's get this fight, make this fight happen. Okay, well, in other news like gossip news or fantasy news, and sometimes I don't even entertain these things, but you know, sometimes I have to address some things. Now, there has been someone that may left a comment on my comment section on one of my videos, and he said Terence Crawford is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and if Naoya Inoue was the best fighter in the world, why doesn't he move up and fight Terence Crawford? Terence Crawford said he would fight him, and that Gervonta Davis is not going to fight Terence Crawford. Now, I know that sounds a little bit all over the place, and if everybody's not informed on what I just said there, I'm going to break it down, okay? First of all, I'm going to lead off this conversation with, have you ever heard someone capping on someone else? That's all cap. That's clout chasing, okay? Because when I hear things like that, first I break it down in my head, and then if I find that anything could be possible or possible, then I'll give it some thought. But right away, if the answer is right in front of your face, you're like, oh, that's cap, and I keep it pushing. But this gentleman thinks that this is real. Check this out. Listen, when Tank Davis came out and said that publicly, and he has a video on YouTube saying that he would beat up Terrence Crawford, and that he move up there and he smashed his glass jaw. In fact, those are the words he said, okay? When he was saying that, then his coach came out, Calvin Ford came out and said Tank Davis was just fucking around. He was just messing around with Terrence Crawford, pushing some buttons. He's not serious about going up there. So when he addressed that, everybody kind of like let Tank Davis off the hook. Like what he said after he said it didn't mean nothing. But now, Naoya Inoue, what they're saying is, if Naoya Inoue is that dude, why doesn't he move up to fight Terrence Crawford? Hold up, guys. That's not even possible, okay? That is straight clout chasing right there. You mean to tell me in reality, you want a man that just fought at 125 pounds to jump up 5 weight divisions to fight Terrence Crawford? Terrence Crawford is willing to jump up 3 weight divisions to fight the winner of Canelo Álvarez, and I don't even see that happening, okay? But that's more plausible, more doable. Okay, he can jump up the 3 weight divisions. Okay, Jamel Charlo jumping up 2 weight divisions. Okay, now Naoya Inoue to jump up 5 weight divisions. No boxer ever alive in history has ever jumped up 5 weight divisions and fought the champion. Not someone that was in the ranking, not a top 10 opponent, not a top 50 opponent, just a tune-up, go in there and knock him out. No, you're talking about fighting the best fighter in the world. You want him to jump up 5 weight divisions and fight the best fighter in the world? I didn't answer that. Because I quickly realized right when you said it, I was like, wow, I hope no one actually believes that's possible. Let's count them. 122, 126, 130, 135, 140, 147. 5 weight divisions. Come on, man. Let's talk about something real. Tank Davis could possibly fight Naoya Inoue. And Naoya Inoue is the man that Tank Davis is the man that I think that could stop Naoya Inoue. Now, if you want to talk about an American fighter that could possibly stop this Japanese dude, it's Tank Davis. Now, listen, for me, that will be a 50-50 fight because I don't think any fighter yet has really given or brought out the best version of Tank Davis. That something in my gut tells me that he's a lot more skilled than what we've seen. He just hasn't been in there with a real technical skilled fighter such as a Naoya Inoue to bring the best version of Tank Davis out. Because I know he wants to show the world that he's much more than just a big punch. All right, that guy has skills. Now, if you want to talk about someone that really has a chance of stopping him, that's Tank Davis. But Terrence Crawford, come on, why are we going to sit here and try to discuss Fantasy Island? Ain't we grown men? Can't you see that would never happen? You know what I'm saying? To divide the two, the only way they're going to two for pound supremacy if one of them loses or has a real bad lackluster performance. You know what I'm saying? Because Naoya Inoue is going to mirror Terrence Crawford. And if he was to successfully get this fight off into Palace, right, and unify all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions, he would have done the same thing Terrence Crawford would have done, and Terrence Crawford wouldn't be special anymore because he's going to be in the same room saying, you're not the only man that did it. There's other men that can do it. So that's not going to be unique, okay? So, and then it's going to go back to the back tail end of their record. And you don't want to go there with this Japanese dude. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Terrence Crawford is going to lose that fight. If you're going to go on the back. Because he literally took Terrence Crawford's record, my man, and cut it in half. Yes, he did. He legitimately did. Yes, he did. So, and the also reason why is that I'm looking into the future. I'm looking into seeing that who can present a threat to this man. And when Terrence Crawford finishes, you got to understand that Terrence Crawford only got a few more fights in front of him. What more can he put on his resume that is going to give the Naoya Inoue kid trouble to catch him, so that the Americans have these type records? Okay, because remember, we were competing. We're competing, bro. You know, we are. But I am not biased. And I love boxing. I'm going to call it like I see it. I love skilled fighters no matter where you're from in this world. Okay? And I love the competition, but I also like to report and give every fighter their flowers. Okay? It doesn't matter where you come from. If you're skilled and you're doing your thing, I would like to believe on this channel you will get your flower, your just dues. At least you'll get it somewhere. You know what I mean? So I just don't see Terrence Crawford, Naoya Inoue ever fighting like that, okay? And just because fighters come out and say things, yeah, you could just say things, just because you're going to say it. Because that's just like saying, you'll beat up that guy because you'll never run into him. Oh, yeah, man. When I see him, man, I'm going to put the hands to him. I'm going to put the mitts to him, right? Because you ain't going to walk into him. It's not possible. You guys are not going to run into each other, But if it was possible, and that would be a real interesting fight. That would be a real Superman fight. Terrence Crawford against Naoya Inoue. That would be a real Superman versus Superman fight. I've said it. So, look, that's all I have for you today. I just wanted to touch up on some of these fights. It seems like every time I'm reporting another fight, I'm saying this is the biggest fight of the year, because they all have, all the way up until this point, boxing has really delivered for us in 2023. This has been one of the biggest years of boxing that I can remember in 25 years. I have never seen a year such as a year like this one right here. And I hope that you enjoy it and tune in with me September 30th when Jamel Charlo and Canelo Álvarez enter the ring for ultimate supremacy. And now this is some Hall of Fame shit right here. You gotta tune in. That's all I got for you today. Like the video, subscribe, and like always, I'm on to the next one. Peace.